Good morning.
Good morning, Phil.
I'm Pastor Phil, and this is the only church in the world that starts services with the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
All right. That's the way it is. If I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong. And I think we have a new record here. I'm trying to think of distances and everything. We have people that live in Florida that used to be here, and they're down there and they watch us on YouTube all the time. And occasionally they come back and they come in and have services with us and they say hi. And so that's Florida. And now we have Audra that lives in Alaska now that's down here and saying hi again. So, hey, Audra. So I think Alaska's further than Florida. We're close, but it's, I think.
Whereabouts in Alaska?
Yeah. Yeah. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am, sir. It's been a long weekend.
I guess. We had some feedback this week from someone, and I don't remember the exact circumstances, but the bottom line was that someone was working with someone and says, "Gosh, don't I know you?" And it's like, "Oh, Janice and Phil. Oh yeah, Divine Fellowship." And the person this individual was talking to was someone that has been going for a long time, hasn't been here for a long time because they couldn't for work, but they watch us on YouTube and are so grateful for being able to see us on YouTube. It just changes their entire life. So thank you, Shannon. Does everybody know why Shannon took on this project? Remember Gail?
Yeah.
Okay, before Gail passed, she had a tough time coming to church. And boy, I mean, she went out of her way. I mean, wheelchair, it was a huge process. And so Shannon wanted to record the services for her. And that's how the project got started. So thank you again. It really makes a difference in people's lives. So, hi, Jackie. One day, a professor entered the classroom and asked the students to prepare for a surprise test. They all waited anxiously at desks for the exam to begin. The professor handed out the exams with the text facing down as usual. Once he handed them all out, he asked the students to turn over the papers. To everyone's surprise, there were no questions, just a black dot in the center of the paper. The professor, seeing the expression on everyone's faces, told them the following: "I want you to write about what you see there." The students, confused, got started on the inexplicable task. At the end of the class, the professor took up the exam, started reading each of them out loud in front of the students. All of them, without exception, defined the black dot, trying to explain its position at the center of the page. After all had been read, the classroom silently waited as the professor started to explain. "I'm not going to grade you on this. I want to give you something to think about. No one wrote about the white part of the paper. Everyone focused on the black dot. And the same thing happens in our lives. We have a white piece of paper to obscure and enjoy, but we always focus on the darkness. One life is a gift given to us by God with love and care, and we always have reasons to celebrate. Nature renewing itself every day in our friends around us, the job that provides us our livelihood, and the miracles we see every single day. However, we insist on focusing only on the dark spot, the health issues that bother us, the lack of money, the complicated relationships with a family member, the disappointment with a friend. The dark spots are very small when compared to everything else we have in our lives. Take your eyes away from the black dots in your life. Let each one of your blessed moments that life gives you be happy and live with peace, love, and joy." The end. We're going home. See you then. What more can anybody say, right? Except that we do have two patron saints by the name of George Carlin and John Lennon. And John said, "All you need is love." Okay. And George, "I have as much authority as the Pope. I just don't have as many people who believe it." Yeah. And, I guess I didn't know this. No, I didn't know this. If a statue in the park of a person on a horse has both front legs in the air, the person died in battle. Oh, so there's smarter people than me. That doesn't really surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. If the horse has one leg in the air, They were wounded. Woohoo! Okay? And if the horse has all 4 legs on the ground, dang, we got some smart people here. Woo. If you were to spell out, if you were to spell out numbers, how far would you have to go until you would find the letter A? In other words, O-N-E, T-W-O, T-H-R-E, keep going. You're going to be a while. Do we have something? Do you have a piece of candy for something for Nancy? My goodness. Hi, Toby. Hi, Toby. Toby's. Hi, Toby. She doesn't normally come up and say hi. So, hello. How are you? She lives here. So if you don't like it, she lives here. All right. Where am I? I'm not there at all. In the movie Casablanca, Rick never says, "Play it again, Sam." It is Ilsa who says, "Play it, Sam. Play it as time goes by." And the last time I watched the movie, I was looking out for that thing, and I didn't ever see it, and that is what I saw. So I know that's correct. Occasionally things in books are correct. For centuries, European law, I think this is, remember I dropped my thing and I didn't know where I was last week? I think this is where I was. So I don't think I've done this one. For centuries, European law made certain crimes punishable by public display in a humiliating position. Okay. In England, there was usually an occasion for the stocks, but at times it was customary to place prisoners in large iron cages hanging a few feet off the ground. The criminal resembled a bird in the cage, and they were soon dubbed jailbirds. The word caught on the public's fancy and came to be applied to any imprisoned criminal. Will Rogers. Where am I? Oh, there we go. After eating an entire bowl, a mountain lion felt so good that he started roaring. He kept it up until a hunter came along and shot him. The moral is, when you're full of bull, keep your mouth shut. You like it? Yeah. Eventually, you will reach a point in your life where you will stop lying about your age and start bragging about it.
Yeah.
Anything else going on? Did you want to talk about that? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Jan and I were fortunate enough, I guess I don't need that.
You don't need
Jan and I were fortunate enough, we came across anybody know what a TENS unit is? Yeah. You know, some of the chiropractors, they've used them for years actually. We came across one. It's brand new. We actually got it at the show yesterday, at the home show.
Yeah.
And long story short how we got it, but it's brand new. And,
it's purple too.
Yeah, it's purple too. So, and they're way smaller than they used to be. I mean, the ones we got years and years ago were kind of big and clunky. This is like tiny. Can this one do 2 people at one time? I don't remember if this one can. I think you can do,
so.
actually, because you have separate controls for each one. So I think you can do that.
But you can come around and I can show it to you.
Yeah, these things were like $300.
Yeah.
So we're going to raffle it off. Not today, but we're going to start selling raffle tickets.
Yeah, that's my next step.
That was kind of Palm Massager.
Yeah.
Digital therapy at palmmassager.com.
Yeah. And what it is
Nice people.
it goes on your joints, your like arthritic places. It does what you call the shock therapy. It's the electrodes that you put on, and then you can set them to a certain level. Whatever you can stand, goes through a certain process of how many minutes or whatever. It is very beneficial. I have actually used them on my lower back. My husband uses them on his, we still have an older version, but uses them on his thumbs. He has very arthritic thumbs. So it's an amazing tool. In place of the waffle feed, I know this is the second time we've canceled it, but it's just going to be a bit too much for us to put on. It's going to take a lot of work, and not just up to it yet. So we're going to do this instead. Tickets are going to be $10 because this is a very valuable item. So we would like to generate some interest. Come see me if you want any tickets, and we can start selling them today. But I think next weekend I'll have a table set up that you can come and actually talk to me. I'll have it out on display.
And they gave us extra pads also.
Yep.
Actually, it's funny. I mean, they literally ended up giving it to the church for this purpose. I mean, we started talking to them. They're thinking about possibly being in our show next year. And, we just kind of talked, and they made this offer. And it's like, really?
Absolutely amazing.
So,
Okay, we're probably going to go a couple weeks to give everybody a chance. There's different people that come and go each Sunday. So each Sunday for the next, what do you want to say, 4 weeks? 3 weeks? Okay.
definitely before Christmas.
Sometime before Christmas then. So we'll keep it going and generate some interest. It's a really amazing thing. So. Yeah, that's what I
said
said. $10 a ticket.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, there are some very generous people in the world. So, and good companies. Anything else going on? What you got, Daryl? I'll bet it's something about drum making.
It is.
Cool.
Yes, it is. So if you ever wanted the drum, next Sunday at, well, I guess it would be 1 o'clock now. It was 2 because waffle feed's not going to happen. So anyway, if you want to make a drum, I'm having a drum making class next Sunday. It'll start around 1 o'clock, probably end around 5. You'll end up with about 16 inch, depending on what material I've got. I've got a mixture, so if you would like a drum, please sign up. I'll give you a call later in the week, but I need to know for sure that you're going to be there. Because once I start preparing materials like on a Friday night for Sunday, so I need to know, I'll be calling everybody that's on the list. I need to know, though, if you're going to be there. If you're not, then just tell me you're not going to be there. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Daryl.
Yeah, there's a lot of prep time.
Yeah. And for those of you who've never seen our church community drum that Daryl and a lot of people got together, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and sounds wonderful. I would venture a guess it's one of the few community drums in this part of the state. I'm sure there's some, but each evening a bird lover, Tom, stood in his backyard hooting like an owl. One night an owl called back to him. For a year, Tom and his feathered friend hooted back and forth. He even kept a log of the conversations. Just as he thought he was on the verge of a breakthrough in interspecies communications, his wife had a chat with their neighbor. "My husband spends his night out calling to owls," she said. "That's odd," the neighbor said. "So does mine." Enough said. There we go. The weirder contortion you get into, the better it works. I have no idea how that works. Calling all angels.
Bring it on. There's that southern accent again, huh? Phil's going to do the singing bowl for us. Who would like to do the, read the singing bowl prayer for us? It's in the front of your songbook. So who would like to lead that? You want to do that? Awesome. Let me give you a microphone.
Oh, I don't need it.
Well, you do if, yeah, you do. They can't hear you on the recording.
That was pretty fun.
No chickening out.
Loving Spirit of Light, we are grateful for this divine church home where we feel safe, connected, loved, and joyful. We ask that angels of light shine grace on our journey and bring us bodacious laughter and the truth of our wondrous destiny. As beacons of light, may we shine our abundant blessings and unconditional love, creating unity for all.
So it is.
So it
Amen.
is.
Thank you. Now, before I forget, this is like the third time I've tried to do this, and I keep forgetting. Where's Luann? I saw you just a minute ago. Where's Luann? There you are. Luann graduated from the most recent Dream Quest class, and I have your certificate of completion. I want to make sure you get that. Congratulations. We've got a Dream Quest class going now. It's awesome. And should have another one start in mid-January. So if you're interested in more information about that, you can chat with me about that later. It's been a weird week. Anybody else have a weird week? Weird. Weird. So before we do weirder, let me just look at you for a minute. Sometimes we forget our spiritual value, and sometimes it really helps to have the love that you are reflected back to you. So just take it on. I want to look at each one of you in the eye and just connect with you and let you know that you're loved and you are loved and how much you're appreciated. I think it was said sometime that you don't have to do big things. If you do a little thing with big love, it's huge. And you all are doing that. So I want to confirm that for you, that you are loved. You're expressing love. And I, for one, am really grateful for you. Yes, you too, Phil. He's dancing around in the back. Look at me, look at me, look at me. And at the same time, I just received that blessing back from you. So thank you. Thank you for that. So should we get into even weirder stuff? Okay, midweek, I was doing really good, and I ended up with a headache to beat the band. And now, before you get into judgment about that, I did pray about it and ask for it to be released from me. And I did start to call somebody and ask for a healer to do some healing. We have healing people that heal around here. I could have asked for help. And what came to me more than once was 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. My grace is sufficient for you. Well, okay then. And this was just not a little headache. I think you have headache from a scale of 1 to 10. And then once you get past 10, it's migraine. And you go migraine 1 to 10. And 10 in a migraine, you want to find a gun and just put yourself out of your misery. And this was ranked right up there. So I had a migraine. I also had a pinched nerve in my neck. So then I had not only just pain on the side of my head, I had pain in my face. Then you can get a hormonal headache, which is like a halo. Had one of those. And I had a throbbing headache. Oh, good Lord. It was like, okay, fine. So along with that came nausea. So no medicine could be consumed. So I was stuck with it. I was just stuck with it. And, you can fight pain, and it makes it worse. I don't know if you've ever been in pain, but that doesn't help. So then I thought, well, I got tools, I got techniques, let me use them. So I want to share with you, and I think part of why I had that experience was because you need to have this information. Whether it's emotional pain, physical pain, mental pain, or spiritual pain, there are ways to deal with pain that maybe you don't know. So let me give you some tools for that. So the first pain I went for was the throbbing. You ever had a throbbing headache or throbbing pain anywhere in your body? Not fun. Not fun. All you can think of is pain, pain, pain. Well, that's kind of where I was. Except for the fact that if you really pay attention, you have that throb of pain, and before it hits you again, it'll recede. If you can just get your consciousness in that space where there's no pain, the next throb is less. So when I would have to, so it looks like getting underneath the pain for me. It's like the pain is this huge wave crashing over, crashing over. And for me, sometimes things look like colors. So it could be like a burnt orange or a angry red or whatever. It was an intense color, whatever it was. But underneath that was this peace, this calm, this space of no pain. When I'm in that much pain, I'm not real verbal, so I couldn't think of what else it could be, so it was just no pain. There was pain and then no pain. And it's only a split second. But I could get into this place of no pain, and every time the pain washed over, I didn't say anything about the pain. I would just wait till it went into that place of no pain, and I would stay there, no pain. And then this pain could wash over me again, and I'd wait for it until it went into no pain. And the next time, you do that for a while, and then this no pain expands. What we put our attention on expands. If we're focused on the pain. But I focused on the no pain, and the no pain expanded. And soon, the place where this throbbing pain eased up and went away. So I looked for the no pain, and I stayed there. Now, I wore the scarf for a reason, because this is what color no pain looked like for me. It may not look like that for you. It may be a whole different color for you. But this is what it looked like for me. And I wanted you to have the visual of that. So I went to the place of no pain. And it felt like it was deeper in my head. Like the pain was up here and this was deeper. Okay. So there was one headache that dissipated. And I have to be honest with you, it took about an hour. It took time. And I couldn't run from it. You can't run from the pain anyway. So there it was. And it took some time. But it's okay. Wasn't doing anything else anyway. So then there was the next level of pain. And so I had to look at that. And so that one was the nerve pain. It was in my face. And so I thought, well, there's no pain because it was constant. So then what do you do? Okay, well then what you do is you find another place in your body where there's no pain, and you draw the energy into the pain. So I took this no pain energy, which for me was on one little tiny spot in my head, because it was close. I just got to the closest place where there's no pain. And I would take where I had just been and just released pain, and I took that no pain and I traveled it over to the pain I was experiencing. So again, there was this constant pain, and then I would just take this no pain and I would put no pain on the pain. And you did it over and over and over and over, and soon that dissipated. Soon that dissipated. Okay, so it was at least an hour, but wasn't doing anything else. So then that left another level of pain. And so the no pain that I had was all used up, or I felt it was all used up. So then what do? So then I realized, well, I'm connected to Divine Source, so let's take Divine Source where there's no pain, and I drew that no pain and had it wash over the pain. And again, it was this blue color. So I took the no pain from Divine Source and let it flow into that pain. And I just kept doing that and doing that. And so I woke up with this headache, and this was like in the evening, and it was hard. I think I lost patience once and said, I just don't think I can take it anymore, to Phil. And he felt helpless. There wasn't anything he could do. I mean, he could hold sacred ground for me and pray about it.
We'll get more ice.
And get more ice. Yes, he did that for me. But even in that, there was still pain. So after throwing a little bit of a fit, I calmed back down, and I went back into drawing no pain into this painful area. So I went to bed, tried to sleep it off as best I could. Couldn't sleep, was awake a lot. And then I realized that, I was doing all I could do at that point. And I remembered last Sunday's guided meditation. You remember Lynn did last Sunday's guided meditation. We went and played with a dinosaur and brought something back. I had brought back a neck bone. I was like, what? Brought back a neck bone. And so I was like laying there going, God, what else can I do? I'm exhausted, I can't sleep, it's painful. And I was reminded of that guided meditation in the neck bone. I thought, well, what am I going to do with this energetic neck bone? And you could almost hear a laugh on the other side of the conversation, and I told you it was going to be weird. And so I realized, oh, it's an energetic neck bone. So I put it in my neck, and it would slide up and down my neck. And where the pain was really intense, because now there's tension in there too, so we had a tension headache in there. So it would go right to where it was hurting and just sit and hover and ease that pain. And then that would ease up, and then there'd be something else and it'd slide down my neck and send energy and healing and this playfulness with the dinosaur. So I thought, oh, how cool is that? Had no idea what that was for. And now I could use that tool. And so the pain had gone from level 10 migraine down to probably a level 4 migraine. So it was still pretty heavy duty. But I was hanging in there. And I realized it's just going to take whatever it takes. And so I asked, well, what else do I need to know about this? And it occurred to me, I'm sure by mere accident, that we're all connected. Now remember last week, Lynn Spicer fell, hurt her knee, Tracy fell, hurt her ankle, Trudy fell, bonked her head, and I tripped and fell and hurt my knees. So, on my shoulder. So we're all connected. So when that awareness came to me, anybody else fall last week on Friday? Some of us fell within an hour of each other. And so the point was, you're connected. And at that split second, I knew that there was someone who was suffering and couldn't bear up under it. But I could. And I was carrying their pain for them. And that pain then still hurt like heck, but it became a blessing. I was very humbled by it. I felt very filled with grace by it. And I could feel that, whether it was a small child that was hurting or some mom that had to get up and take care of her kids in the middle of the night, I don't know what it was, but someone couldn't bear up under the burden. But I could. And so I was carrying that pain for them. And even though the pain didn't go away, the pain then had purpose. And I drifted to sleep. I would wake up and the pain would be there, and I'd fall back asleep. I'd wake up and the pain would be there, and I'd fall back asleep. Woke up the next day, and it was still there. It took a while longer for that to totally, completely dissipate. Probably the rest of that next day. But that pain had purpose, and I was honored that the strength was there. Someone else might not have been able to bear up under that, but I could. And then I thought, well, it's the same is true for emotional pain. Sometimes people are hurting really, really bad emotionally. And because we're all connected, if I remember an old wound, an old injury, an old emotional trauma, maybe it's not that I have to clear another level out, and maybe it is, but if I've done the work and it's still there, then maybe I'm carrying that burden or that pain for someone else so they can endure. And then that pain becomes purposeful. It becomes beautiful. So pain is not an enemy. The more we fight pain, the worse it gets anyway. So when we can be in that space of love and that space of compassion and knowing that whatever suffering you're having is not being ignored by divine source, it's there for purpose. And I realized that at that moment that there was a name for the no pain. And the name is grace. The name is grace. And this grace could wash through me. And as I would ask for more of this grace to help me with my pain, I knew that I was connected to somebody else that was also receiving grace. How beautiful is that? To be a vessel of willingness to receive this grace energy. So whether it's whatever kind of pain that you're experiencing, we're connected. And know that that pain that you're experiencing may be a call for you to work on your own stuff. I certainly had to do a lot of my own work to clear stuff. But maybe it's also so that you can help someone else. In Galatians chapter 6, verse 2, bear one another's burdens. We can bear one another's burdens. Now, I'm going to throw a wrench in the works, because if you read verse 5 out of that same chapter, for each one shall bear his own load. What? This is why people get so frustrated with the Bible. Okay, so a burden is different than a load. The load that they're talking about is your own life, your own path, your own journey. You can give somebody a leg up. That's part of the journey. That's helping one another. But it's still their journey to walk through. You know, there's just some things that only the individual can have responsibility for. But we can bear one another's burdens. It doesn't have to be excruciating. So there's suffering and pain, but misery is optional. Misery is optional. So even though it hurt, and I didn't want to hurt, oh, trust me, I did not want to hurt. But even though it hurt, it had purpose, and I was not in misery. I was not miserable. I felt the grace of it, and the joy of it, and the peace of it. And so that grace is this beautiful, the definition of grace is unmerited favor. I didn't have to deserve it. It wasn't like, oh, I ate something wrong that triggered a migraine, so I'm a bad person, I deserve this migraine. No. It didn't matter where it came from. It didn't matter what happened yesterday. It didn't matter why. It didn't matter. What mattered was this unmerited favor could come to me and expand a healing for me and anybody else that needed it. And you have access to that. Grace is a gift. You don't earn it. We think sometimes we have to be worthy. Hooey! You don't have to be worthy of anything. You're breathing. You're worthy. Right? Because when you were born, you took on the breath of life. Some of us have had really challenging lives, some of us not so much. But you took it on. And that makes you worthy. And you don't have to do anything else but breathe. And have access to this divine grace that can cover everything. And bring us an abundance in lots of levels. In lots of levels. Second Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8. And God, higher power, supreme being, divine source, creator, whatever that is for you, is able to make all grace abound to you, that you always having all sufficiency in everything, you may have an abundance for every good deed. If you want an abundance, it's grace. Ask for it. You know, we've been talking about manifesting. This is another form of manifesting. Hi, Toby. You can manifest because God wants you to have so that you can share with others. And sometimes the abundance is all about being willing to bear one another's burdens. How beautiful is that? I want to walk you through a guided meditation now.